All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Strain of Phase podcast. As you can see, I am not alone today, and it's really important that you listen really closely when I explain this, because what's about to happen is probably not going to bring you any more clarity than you already have, because you're probably just as confused as me. And I brought this specific group of folks here today to have a conversation. Let me be crystal clear with you. Not one of us is an authority figure. Not one of us considers ourselves an expert in this realm. It is simply an open space for us to ask questions, have open conversation, and prepare yourself probably a little bit of an argument. So we're going to do our best today to be cordial with one another. I'm going to introduce these bomb folks to you and just understand that we are going to attempt to have a conversation around what the hell is going on when it comes to our culture and relationships, men against women, because it feels like, I don't know about y'all, but more so we're in an argument and in a competition more so than we are desiring to be in a union these days. You and I both can agree that we have too many high achieving single female friends that are bomb as hell and also single. And every man on planet Earth seems to be wanting to start a podcast who has an opinion about women as so. So we're going to unite this conversation today. I brought some really cool folks here. I wouldn't even say none of us are even keel, all of us in very different situations. So I'm going to start the conversation as such. And again, remind you, we're not experts. We're just opening this conversation up. And I have a feeling we're going to have some fun. So I want to start by, instead of a normal introduction, you're going to give your name, maybe something you want to tell them, and your relationship status. Whatever that may be, okay? We'll start with the marriage and money mentor himself.
All right, it's the marriage and money mentor, Derek A. So my relationship status is I am currently the king in my relationship. I am married. I'm the king of my relationship, and my wife is my queen.
Yeah, that's how we get it started.
How long have you been married?
We've been married 7 years.
Okay.
This year was 7 years.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
It was hard.
I'm so excited about this already, because every time I bring somebody on here, it's like, who are you and what do you do? And to actually have a different conversation, like relationship-wise, I think it's so cool. Y'all already know me, Jessica Hurley, and I am about a year out single. So I've been single for about a year. So go ahead.
My name is Janice Burgos. I have been single for about 2 years out of a relationship. And I would say I have never been married or in a...
That's important.
Yeah, in a long-term relationship container that involved like living with someone or even kids. So I definitely feel like I have a little bit of a newer perspective on relationships than I would say.
Absolutely. Desire one.
Because Jessica, if anyone doesn't know, also you were once engaged, which I think is really important.
Yes, married, once engaged, with a child, with the person that I was engaged to, now single with a child.
Yeah, let's bring the kid aspect in too.
Yeah, do you have children?
I have 3 stepchildren, but I have none of my own. No biological.
Okay, no biological, 3 stepchildren. I have a child, and I'm single, no children.
And as for me, my name's Joe Prince. I go by my last name, Prince. So please refer to me as such. I am currently. Look, I'm talking to you guys. I gotta let you guys know, right? That was a whole topic of discussion, right, beforehand. So
here we go.
Prince, I am currently in a relationship, working on things, and I have no children.
See, now that's weird because the men at the table are normally the single ones. Normally, the men in these conversations are the single ones. That's weird to me. Let's
get a little bit more clear on today's conversation that I think Jessica kind of left out, which is specifically about high achieving women, which once you get into that category tends to change the number of relationship statuses. And so what happens is that a lot of high achieving women have that masculine energy or personality traits that I think might clash with masculine energy over here, who just told us how to address them for the day. So I think that's...
Please and thank you.
Hey, look, but I want y'all to realize he's a gentleman with it, though. You see the clean his name.
Yes.
Please get him in his credit.
Yes.
But this is the perfect start to the conversation because look at this, right? We're joking because we've had candor and like great conversation before we sat down at this table. But like, we are so picky of each other's standards when it comes, like, I swear, like when I'm sitting amongst a group, it is like men and women are in competition. When I'm listening to my girls talk about their first dates, it's like it becomes a competition. Like, why are we in a competition? Why do... See, I have to be so careful because we could just like steamroll into all these questions.
So you know what? Let's not even be careful. We taking the brakes off of it. Let's take the brakes off of it. So to answer that first question, right? Like, why do it feel like men and women are in competition? Because I think men and women want to be seen a certain way. So
to whom?
To the opposite sex.
Right.
Into society.
So, yeah. So like, you take the high value women, right? A lot of them have went
Pause.
through their...
Can we define the high value woman?
I'm gonna let y'all answer that first before I go. Yeah, go ahead.
But men are attracted.
Take it back. High earning women. Let's go there.
Yes, because value has a lot of different.
Right.
Yes.
Encompasses a lot of different things, including your core values.
Value will change based on the person that you're speaking to.
Yes.
High
achieving, high earning.
Right.
High
Earnings
earning.
are what they are.
Yes.
What
the bag look like.
6 figure? What is it? What's the number?
Let's go 6 figures.
Okay.
Let's go 6 figures.
Okay.
We'll start there. Because would y'all agree that would be for the women who might say, you know, I'm a high earning woman, I make 6 figures, I'm not in a relationship, I can't find a man who accept this, or whatever the case may be, which we'll get into very soon.
I think that has far little to do with the number and very much to do with the way you carry yourself. Because you could be somewhere between 100,000 and $250,000 and be a very different woman. Like, you could be at that low 6 and not have that level of confidence or carry yourself in such a way.
Okay.
I think for the nature of the conversation, I say it's 6 figures and financially independent, meaning you do not rely on someone
I like that.
I can get with that.
for your lifestyle.
Like
you can afford and you fund your own lifestyle.
Okay.
And that right there is exactly where we're going to start.
And
let's start there.
And I would like to add to that with saying resources. Meaning, however your setup is, if you have grandparents, parents, because grandparents, the norm is they pay for private school for a child, right? For those individuals that go to a private school that is of high cost, right? So if that is in your resources, then that also counts towards your bag, we'll say.
So you're saying assets from family.
That.
Passed down assets.
Right.
Anything that does not involve relying on a man or a partner to receive.
Okay. Exactly.
Okay.
Right. That your family and your setup is how it is.
Perfect.
I like that because
separate and apart of the individual you are looking to date.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Beautiful. So here's where we begin. When you are talking about two independent individuals, financially independent individuals, a high achieving woman financially and a high achieving man who might be attracted to one another, where does the independence, where do we draw the line where the independence stops and the relationship begins?
That's such a great question.
That is a good question.
Because this is the problem. Because y'all want to jump? We just jumped off a 30-foot cliff.
Yep.
Because I feel like, and I'll say this my way and everyone's going to say it their way, but I'll give my analogy that I constantly use, is I feel like, I'll be completely honest in my perspective. I'm out here looking for a man. Ideally, most of us are out here looking for a man on our caliber or better. We're like, either be at my level because I've done this hard work, or lead me to a higher level, take me to the next level, right?
Right.
But then there's a good chance when I meet that man, we get to a place where it's cute for a little while, and then we're now bumping heads.
No.
Because wait, because I'm independent, you're independent, and now the world loves us. The world respects us. But then when we go to contribute to one another, it's like, well, what do you know who I am? What are you giving to me? Well, wait, do you know what I am? What are you giving to me? And nobody's willing to let their guard down to actually contribute. We both know we're independent, but what are you contributing from a value perspective to the partnership? This is why women always say, and I'm saying this not from a men are wrong, I'm saying this, women will always be like, look at me, I know I'm better than the average female. But just because of what I bring to the table, men always say, what do you bring to the table? Just because of what I bring to the table, what value do I bring to the relationship outside of my independence? Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. So,
Okay.
Okay, so married man speaking, right? So there's two things that you brought up. You said, what is that line, right? Pretty much you get crossing as cute and everything like that to...
Two independent individuals, now we're competing.
Right. Well, first of all, you got to fix you before you go into a relationship.
Correct.
Because if you're going to a relationship, I don't care what the dollar amount is. It could be two people that both make $10 million a day. If you are not in a position to be able to receive that woman for who she is, and if she's not in a position to receive that man for who he is, you don't need to be together in the first place.
So Derek, can we go with, we are already past that point. Mm-hmm. You've done your work. You're ready to date. I'm ready to date.
Yep.
Now we're dating, and we are two strong individuals. You're with me because you seen I was the shit without you.
Okay.
My language.
Go ahead.
You seen that I was. You seen I was independent without you, and I looked at you and said, I want her because she got everything, and she don't need a man.
But
you're whole.
Yeah.
Both of you guys are whole. And now we're dating. We're emotionally stable. We're mentally there.
For the most part.
Okay.
For the most part.
Yep.
Right? Everybody has their own things going on.
No one is whole.
Right. Whole enough.
Yeah, whole enough. There you go.
And mentally stable enough.
And
that's what I was about to bring up.
To be appropriate for dating.
Okay.
Whole enough to be appropriate for dating.
Right. So my next question is going to be, what's your communication look like? If I'm in that space, if we fit that bill, right? If I'm coming to a relationship and I'm saying, okay, I'm ready for this, you're ready for this, what are you expecting of me? What do you want? Because if I can have that conversation up front day one, and I know what you want, and you know what I want, we either know right then you can go or you can stay.
Yeah.
But you got to have that conversation.
But this level of communication in the beginning of dating scares the shit out of people.
But fix you before you go into that.
So I posted a meme and it said, I already have money. So the only thing I need from a man is emotional safety, and I care about how he treats me. So now, men are so used to carrying the world on their shoulders. Absolutely. I will always honor men in that way.
Absolutely.
Men are expected, not asked of, but men are expected and required to work hard, to be a provider, to be financially stable and responsible and independent, and have all of these skill sets in addition to typically in the past what women have been responsible for.
Right.
And now we're expecting them to be our emotional partners.
But now what's happening is like, oh no, I actually, and I don't know if this feels like if it devalues a man, but now it's like, oh, I actually don't care about any of those things that you've been taught that you have to provide. I just want you to treat me right. And I want you to be emotionally mature and emotionally responsible and be a man of your word. If you say you're going to call at a certain time, you call at that time, or you let me know that you're not going to call. Those are the things that are now valuable, important to me.
Right.
And so men who historically have not been nurtured in that emotional way, have not been cared for in that mental health space, I honor and respect that. Now you have a clash to where you have an emotional woman, a feminine woman who actually just wants the emotional side of that man that may or may not have been nurtured. Now what?
Okay, see, what I felt like y'all talking straight at me.
Okay, I'm waiting for you, Mouthpiece. Let's go.
I'm gonna take
and I looked at you because you're married man, and you know what that looks like.
Which is why I want to take this one. So, truth be told, I've not always been. I was a horrible boyfriend. Got better as a husband. I was crappy as a boyfriend.
That's real.
Right.
That's real.
And so, when I first got married, I was like, shoot, because I wasn't making the money I was making now. Nothing was not to who I am today at all.
Became this person.
I had to become this.
Correct.
And forget the money. Forget the money. I was like, look, I pay the bills in my house. Nobody knows if they come knock on this door, they know they got a problem. I'm a man. I did my job. And I was miserable. My wife was miserable. We hated each other. Because the same stuff you just said, I couldn't pick up. Right. So I had to change my definition of what a man as a provider is. Because we always think, oh, I provide. It's something physical or tangible.
Right.
Yep. And it's probably 10% physical, 90% emotional and mental. Yeah. Because when I started taking care of my wife's mind and her emotions, my marriage got exponentially better. Right? And then I got blessed. I started making more money. So now I'm paying all the bills. Yeah. We can take these trips. We can do this. But we happy when we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
we happy when we go.
Yeah. Not happy when we get there and when we come back, but happy when we go.
We might not be happy when we get back, right? Because I walk real fast in the airport. She kind of slow. It don't work out. I'll be mad. But no, but when we go places now, we have arguments at home. We made a vow. When we walk into the street, we are the Abbotts, right? That's who we are. So there will never be any point of contention. No one will ever see anything like that because we are the Abbotts. Now, when we get home, we're going to have those arguments. Every married couple is going to argue. Relationships, you're going to argue. It doesn't matter. But the way you communicate to those, right? Yeah. And so, actually, on my podcast, one of the episodes I was talking about one of the things that you can do to re-weaponize your spouse.
De-weaponize.
Re-weaponize. We're going to talk about that later. There's a difference between re and de. We'll talk about that later. One of those steps is I got to communicate to you so that way I don't cause further injury, right? Not to communicate why you should never been mad in the first place.
Give them that.
Okay, so...
Lesson number 1.
Right. So when you communicate with your spouse or somebody in a relationship, whatever the case is, don't communicate to defend and say you shouldn't be mad in the first place. Communicate, walk into it saying, hey, you know what? I was wrong. And I may or may not have been wrong, but I was wrong because now you've been impacted negatively. How can I prevent further injury to you in the future? That's the mindset you got to walk into it with.
Can I say that I will marry the man that I will marry the man that tells me that.
Conflict resolution is literally the foundational. People don't emphasize that enough in a relationship. Yeah. You can stay married forever with conflict resolution. You could be best friends. You can stay married forever if you have that at the foundation of your relationship.
Exactly. Because you got to remember, man, when you're going into conflict resolution, it's not to defend your point. It's to dissolve the issue.
Correct. And we both have the same goal in mind. Keep in mind, we're supposed to. I don't need to prove that I'm right and you are indeed wrong and you need not to ever bring this up again. Both of us have the common goal of dissolving this so we can move forward in our marriage and our partnership. Right. And I think people forget that. Right.
Now, I want to bring up another part to that, right? So the expectation of what you're going to expect when you get that. So if a man comes to you and says, this is my expectation, right? It's not going to be over like that. It's not, especially if it's something significant, right? Something that you really had two very different sides on. If I say, hey, I'm going to work on this to get better, tomorrow if I do it, you can't be mad at me.
Right.
I'm working on it. I think women struggle with this.
Yeah, that's why I'm bringing this up.
We do.
Because a woman says, I told you what it is, and you're my provider, you're my protector, fix it. In the conversation. And a man can't fix something like that because if it was that easy, we would have never been here in the first place.
Behavioral or pattern-based.
Exactly. It would have been completely different. Wow. So now, because you've told me what it is, give me some time to fix it. Depending on how big the issue is, but give me some time to fix it.
I'm going to flip this for a second. So now, let's say indeed you do fix it. Let's slap a name on it, arbitrary. Slap a name on it like it's, I don't know, what's something that I would correct.
Doesn't communicate or text while you
I mean, she was ready. Like, who has not texted you back? Who didn't text you back? Hey, look.
Y'all not responding in a timely manner.
You see this woman here? She's single. Whoever gets a relationship with her next, text her.
Back.
Okay? Bye. If you laying in the bed, text her good night. Text her.
Immediately.
Right, immediately.
Right. If you're pondering on it.
All I'm saying is keep that same energy.
Where you started, keep going.
So
hold that thought. Yes.
I'm giving you credit though, because you pointed out a weakness in myself that I recognize. To where, again, with high achieving women, what do? We check it off. Click, done. Okay. Yep. If I can check it off, why didn't you check it off?
Correct.
I told you I didn't like that last week.
Yep.
And I can admit that I have seen frustration
and impatience
and bumping of heads because when I vocalize it, because I feel like, oh, well, I told you I didn't like that. And then you do it. Now it's an offense. Now I'm taking it personal. Because I told you I didn't like this and how it made me feel, and I had a vulnerable moment, and I took down my wall to be vulnerable and give you my pain, and then you made that pain happen again. Right. Now, what do I do as a woman?
You really want to? Okay, so
and also, what would you do?
I love the way you come in.
What would you do?
Tell us, Chris.
What would you do as a man for the same thing? when I'm sitting there trying to let you know I'm doing this for our best interest, you're not listening to me. I keep on coming back to you. And now, the minute that I say, you know what? I'm going to let you do you. Go ahead. You got it.
Okay, so both parties does it. Prince is saying he's the male version of me.
I got 2 words for both of you.
Wait. And to finish, one option is, right, because I want the path of least resistance.
Right.
I'm going to say, hey, let you do you. Go ahead.
Okay.
So, right? But then, right. But look,
that's it.
But then, but look, is that option or the other option? I keep on pushing the point, right? Because when I stay in the middle and I'm in that limbo, at the point that I'm no longer addressing it, you feel like it's okay with me, and it's not. And it's not okay with me. But now when I'm letting you do you, now you're gonna say, oh man, you don't have a backbone. I don't want to be with a pushover. And nobody wants a pushover as their partner, right? I want you to oppose me. But now the minute that I say something, now I'm too controlling. And now the minute that I say, that I see you're not getting it, and I keep on pushing the point because I'm working with you. Now by the 5th time I'm saying it, you're saying you're a nuisance. You're just nagging me.
Bro, who hurt you?
Leave me alone. Nobody.
Who hurt you, bro?
Nobody. I've been hurt.
I'm being serious.
Hey, look, I've been hurt. Hey, I've been hurt. So for me, I've been hurt and I've hurt others. Mm-hmm. So I am above.
Have we all? We have all.
Right. So I'm above nobody. I've been on the receiving end.
Right.
And I've also been the one dishing it out.
So let me ask y'all both a question, right? Because I got 2 words that I want to answer both of y'all questions with. But I want to ask you this: in these situations that you have, because we all speaking from experience.
Yep.
What was your level of emotional maturity at the time?
I would say for the most
Prince was like, this was yesterday.
A level 6? Are we going? What's the number? I need a chart. Go ahead and put out a chart.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, where was your emotional maturity at the time?
Now, I don't know, because I don't know how emotionally mature I am compared to a married man of 7 years.
Ooh.
Okay. That's fair. I got to take.
Now, where was your emotional maturity? Where was your level at when you were in my position? And you said you were a bad boyfriend.
I'll tell you right now, 1.
Okay. So I might be a bad boyfriend, but I think I'll make an amazing husband because of where I rely.
Wow.
Right. That's good.
So you want her to marry potential?
See, and then when we start talking about the tension,
why y'all shooting at me,
We're not marrying potential.
You can't. Well, hold on.
Same way, if I can't prove to you here in this space of dating that I could be a wife, why would you marry potential?
I firmly disagree.
Well, for you, but
I firmly disagree with that. I'm gonna tell you why.
For him, now, we can all agree that money matters in a relationship, right? For our standard of living and lifestyle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She married you when you weren't making much, or as much as you're making now. So somebody had to bet on him, so she had to bet on his potential. And nobody is marrying somebody. It isn't a person out here that's marrying somebody and say, I'm gonna marry you as you, and I expect everything as it is right now when we're 30 to be the same when we're 40. The same house, the same car that we live in, everything. I ain't even worried about progressing. Investments, we ain't gonna go. Just right now, as we are in 2022, is how I expect it to be in 2042. I don't need anything else. Maybe a kid along the way and we'll figure that out. No, we trying to build stuff. We want to build stuff on top of stuff and keep it going. We want to create legacies. So
precisely,
how do we go from there?
So you said you hit it perfectly on the head. There's not a person in life that gets married and doesn't marry for potential. Think about it.
You're right.
Anything that we do, I don't care if it's marriage, relationship, job, going to the grocery store, we have an expectation of what the future will bring to us.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Okay? Because I told my wife, I said, look, I'm crappy as a boyfriend. I done did all this stuff. When you get my last name, the game is different. The level of protection changed.
See,
the level of provision changed. The level of sacrifice changed. The level of submission that I gave to her as a man changed. All of these things had to change because if they'd have stayed the same, there's no way we can make it.
Yep.
There's no way.
So back to the original question. Your answer would be that independence ends at the time that I ask you to be my wife. That's when it changes. Yes. That's when I make the transition of you being optional to me to now you're a requirement.
Correct.
You will be with me forever. And that's how I expect it to be. Yes. Because one of the things that I think in the relationship and what's going on is that we're we understand the practicality of life. The people that we're marrying, we're seeing divorces happening so often. You could be here today, going tomorrow, for any reason that you choose. You could just see something better walking down the street. And next thing you know, that's what you want. You can no longer be this person in this decade to the next. And you just don't, you've outgrown me. All these different reasons. People find all different reasons to get divorced. That's fine. But you also have to understand, right, in that, how do we love without bounds, knowing that there's vulnerability in that? And thinking that we're abiding by, and we're sticking to the person, and we're keeping the same energy that we started the relationship with, but that energy no longer suits you. You progress beyond that energy, and maybe I didn't, but I don't know. Maybe we're miscommunicating, or maybe at the point that I marry you, because this happens a lot in relationships. When I marry you, I'm chilling now. I'm good. I done took my foot off the gas pedal a little bit. I'm in cruise control. So I'm not trying to level up as quickly as I did. I don't work out as intensely. I'm not hitting my marks like I once did, because now I got somebody up there co-piloting with me. So where is that balance that exists?
Being on the other side of the broom,
yeah,
right? These are all things that bleed into the person you were before you even got into a relationship.
Yeah.
Because if you have a spirit of, I'm gonna pull back because I got a wife, you were probably gonna pull back anyway.
That's good.
I'm with that.
If you have the spirit of a person who says, oh, you know what, this energy ain't good for you no more, you probably went into it not wanting to sacrifice, not wanting to cooperate, not wanting to work together. Right?
Yeah, I'm with
you got to remember, when you get married, you signed up for a lifelong job of submission. Okay?
On both sides.
On both sides of it.
Ooh.
On both sides.
Which is why character matters. You have to marry character.
Yes, you are going to marry character traits. Women, especially, and I hate to talk to y'all directly, I'm talking to y'all. You ain't finna change that man. He ain't changing. It's not gonna happen. If he didn't change...
Well, he'll change when he wants to. Like, she's not gonna influence the change. He can change.
She can influence the change.
Right.
But he's going to change if you are the one for him and he sees enough value in you. Do not put up, I'm gonna marry him. We're gonna have a child. We're gonna do all this stuff and he gonna change. No, he ain't. He gonna do that with you, get tired of you, and then do it somewhere else. Because you're not what he's changing for. A man can't change for a woman. Right. A man changes for himself and then brings more value to the table for a woman.
Derek, can I add in something that maybe oppose your opinion? I think a man can change for a woman, just like a person can change for a child that is born. So if I can change for that little person, why can't I change for this other human being that means everything to me? We are all, everything adapts in this world. At the minute that I start saying, I no longer want to change for anything or whatever, then I become hardened within myself. And now I'm not open to receive the next thing. You might be the very thing that I'm opposed to adapting to in our relationship, right? And working as a team might be the very thing that holds you back. And me as your partner, I'm looking at you and saying, hey, I need this because this could open me up to a new world. So I need you to adapt to doing something maybe you don't like, maybe you're not fond of. But maybe I need you to do this just for a year because I know you don't like doing this. Whatever particular thing that is in y'all dynamic. Maybe it's picking up the kids or something like that. I know that was never your thing. You didn't, when we had sat down at the table 2 years ago, right?
Wasn't the original commitment.
That wasn't the original commitment. That wasn't the original plan. Now it is, because this is what the world is requiring of me. This is what my job is requiring of me. So at this point, we need to change. And the only thing constant in life is change.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think the whole, a person doesn't change. I think it's also two different, dynamics or aspects to that, because I think behaviors can change. But I think what you were talking about is values. What do you value?
And what do you mean by what do you value?
Right. So, a man's value is, let's just throw it out there.
No.
Yeah, let's just throw it out there. So, let's start with a behavior. A behavior is, I go to the club every weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Value is faithfulness.
A value is, you know what? Loyalty. I'm not going to go over this woman's house because my baby's at home. That's a value trait, right? I had a post on my social media where I had the 6 steps to be, a strong man, right? And one of them was integrity, right? Where you have a code.
You are when you are not in front of that person.
Exactly. It's a man's code that he stands on, no matter whether it's day, night, I don't care, wherever he's at in front of, who's around, doesn't matter. That's what he lives on.
Correct.
You're not knocking him off of that, right? So to go back to your previous point,
potential, you're marrying integrity.
Exactly.
Correct.
You got to marry the person, whoever that person is, when they have absolutely nothing, is who you want to be marrying.
Correct.
That's who you want to marry.
But if you didn't meet me with nothing, because
then that means I'm closer to probably the person I need to be. You need to be looking at.
There you go. But now you meet me with something, and then things change, right? I think even in integrity, mentioning that, I think it's all about standard, right?
Agreed.
We respect standards. Tell me what your standard is. I love them, right? For a woman that is a high achieving woman, I want to meet those standards and exceed them. That's what I expect of myself in life. And if I value you, then I'm willing to adapt and change where I need to your standard because you're worth it to me.
Precisely. So,
but time out. This is going to take me to the question that we got. Please bring up that question because I hear what you're saying. And I think there's based on what we're hearing online, these podcasts that are coming out where these men are saying when a woman approaches me and she's got a home and she's got the financial independence and she's ready, all she needs now is a man. Men are saying that, well, now you've now disqualified yourself. I don't need a woman that is at that level and has these level of standards because now I have nothing to build with you.
So
can I say something here? I would like to mention what is called the kiss of death. This was brought to me by my clinical instructor while I was in school.
And he's older than you and married.
And he was older than me, married with 3 kids.
Okay.
And I think he had been married for 10 plus years, maybe 15. Now, I don't know if he's still married, but he said the kiss of death. He said a relationship will not work if one of these 3 things exists.
One of 3.
If she makes more money, if she is more educated, and if she is, and if she is taller.
Wait, what?
If she is more educated, makes more money, and if she is taller.
I got 2 out of 3.
What's it?
So is it any one or all?
So wait. So for me, in my outlook and my perspective on relationships, I've been trying to see how accurate he is, and he's kind of in there where it seems pretty accurate, or you get a very passive guy, not necessarily the guy that a high achieving woman would want, because she wants that alpha. She doesn't want that passive guy.
But sometimes you need the beta.
No, absolutely.
To live harmonious.
No, absolutely.
Yes.
But, and also I would like to add, I don't think it's one of 3. I think it's 2 of the 3. If 2 of the 3 exist, what I have been seeing is that the relationship doesn't last. It doesn't work because the man's ego needs to be fed. The woman also wants somebody to literally, being taller than, look up to, but also figuratively look up to. Also go to him for wherever information that he can provide. She wants to learn from him. She wants somebody she can look up to and respect.
So this leads deeply into the conversation that is endless on social media. That is, what is a submissive woman? When men are now coming forward and saying they want a more submissive or traditional woman, feminine, or we're looking for a woman with more feminine essence. I'm an alpha. I'm more masculine. I need a feminine woman. What does this look like? Because I've seen both. I've seen where the woman is very feminine, becomes a stay-at-home mom, does all these things, and she becomes not respected by the husband. The husband loses respect for her. Or the flip side is the woman brings herself up, she elevates herself, and now she's not submissive or traditional enough. So where is
the balance?
This balance?
It's more so where's the balance? Because I don't think you can live on one side or the other.
Right.
So I'm way on the other side of the cliff.
That's why I brought you. What's
the other side? What's your other side?
To me, that sounds like a soft and weak man.
What's that?
That sounds like a soft and weak man.
What's that?
If I am in a relationship and this woman has chosen to love me and I have chosen to love her, that means we won.
Yep.
Oh, you make $1 million? No. We make $1 million.
Oh, I'm with that. Now wait, I'm with that.
I don't care if I bring 10. I don't care if you went to Harvard for 19 years and I went to PS 105 and I didn't pass the 2nd grade. If we together, we are now equal. Okay? So if me as a man, if I can't be secure enough in my relationship, in my marriage, and what I bring to the table, either one, I should have never approached that one in the first place, or I got insecurities I got to fix with me. So that means me as a man, I got to go heal myself so that way I can get that monkey off my back.
Right. So
period.
So for me, money isn't really a thing to me. So please, whatever amount of money that you want to make, that's just more for us. I'm good with that, so that doesn't affect me.
But that puts you ahead of half of the men in the world.
That's understandable, and like more zeros, it's just more zeros, right?
Yeah,
right.
Like, where's everything else? Because without you, I was independent. I don't need your money. Your money is just icing on the cake, right? But for both sides. Both sides.
And I think a lot of men, they base their value based off what their bank account is.
Oh, absolutely.
And I was one of them.
Because you know why? Because I could be the greatest man. I could be the greatest lover. I could be the most emotionally sound, mentally sound, and all that.
Yeah.
And have a $30,000 job, and that woman would not judge me as appropriate.
That's her preference.
She would not say I meet her standards. She would even find a roundabout way of saying, right, because at the point that you push that agenda, she would then say, because she realized you're backing her into a corner, to where you're saying, wait, hold on, wait, am I all about the money? But I'm trying to tell you that I'm all about the emotions. I want the love there and this and the other. But 30,000, you can't have that at least 75.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, 75 kind of my number.
Okay, so let's talk about positive pride, right? Because we all know pride can topple you. Yeah. Right? I don't know what that thing is. But let's talk about pride versus positive pride, right? So if I'm just a prideful man, no matter what, sticking my chest all the time, I can fall from that.
We saw what you did.
I didn't mean to. My man fell out. I'm sorry. It fell out. Mm-hmm. But now we talk about positive pride, right? So like, if I have enough pride or positive pride enough to say, you know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to hustle. I'm going to make this 75 grand. I'm going to make this 100,000. Not because I want to be suitable to her, but because I take enough pride that I want to give her a life that she deserves. I want to give her these things, not because she wants them, my wife right now drives a Mercedes, a GLE something I bought. I don't know. You know what the woman asked me for? She wanted it was like some Honda TL, some junk she wanted. I don't know. And because the first car I was able to buy her was a Honda. And she loved her. She was so great. She's like, I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want you to pay this on it. No. You my wife. So you get these things now. That was my pride kicking in. Not in a negative way. That's my wife. I want to give her nice things, right? Yeah. So now that man that makes $30,000, if he's happy, that's where he wants to be, then you just can't shoot in that gym. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? Because like you said, everybody got standards, right? Yep. So if those are the standards you have, that doesn't mean he's not worthy. It doesn't mean he doesn't have worth. Yeah. It just means he doesn't fit what you want.
Yeah.
That's all that means.
Yeah, I'm not trying to go to Applebee's on every Friday. Sometimes I want to be winding down.
And I also don't want you to judge me for wanting more either.
Right.
Because I have met men with great character that do not meet those financial needs, and they have you're right. They're insanely solid as far as character. But then when I want to go spend $150 on a steak because I'm craving a steak, I don't want to hear your mouth. Like, I don't want to hear oh, you bougie. Oh, you this. Oh, you that. No, I earned this lifestyle.
That's a weak ego talking.
If a man tells me, okay, big money.
Yes!
Red flag. I'm leaving you where you called me big money.
It's okay.
I'm leaving you there.
I feel you on that.
Because my man, all I did was order an appetizer.
Now hold on. Now if I say wait, hold on now, big money, what you ordering this whatever, right? This $50 drink or whatever. And I say, oh, hold on, big money.
No, I can't get it.
Wait, hold on. But I say, hold on, big money. And I'm talking to you just because I have standards of my own and how I handle my money and say, I wouldn't pay that much for that. Right?
But that's what you're saying in that joke.
But look, when
you're saying I don't respect how you're spending your money. That's what
you're addressing the mentality aspect of it.
Yes,
it speaks to the mentality, not the
and I agree with that. Me saying, and that might be me saying in a playful manner, joking manner. Yeah. I don't respect how you're spending your money there.
Right.
But that's me saying maybe that's just a standard, right, or whatever, because I got money and I handle my money well.
Right.
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 And if
context matters.
Context matters. So if I'm talking to a peer and I'm saying that, and I'm like, oh, okay, big money, that's how we doing it?
See,
that's how we doing it tonight? So we going to do it like this every weekend?
And I would be like, if me and my homegirls go to meat market just for drinks, that's our standard.
But let me again. My marriage is starting to leak out a lot. I'm sorry, man.
Come on.
No, we need
We
that.
need it. We need it.
If we're not married,
Give us therapy.
because we didn't add that everybody at this table is looking to be married.
Correct.
right.
At some point in time.
That's important.
Yeah, that's
so
important.
we're learning from each other. We're having a conversation and we're also learning.
Yeah. So
Right.
to the three of you, my future
Mentees.
people. Yeah.
Speak that.
If
Folks
this
are planning to see on the other side of the room.
other side of the room, and I'm gonna be at every wedding right there, just to the side.
Told you this was coming.
Yeah, so if a man or a woman is not married to you, you don't get to check my pocket.
Mm.
Okay.
You don't get to check my pocket.
Okay.
Like that.
Because who's to say, no offense, that you're gonna even be here after this date anyway?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta remember, the courting process is meant to get to know a person, to understand them,
And
to
to
know
like
where
who
they
they
want to
are.
go, and to see if you are aligned with them to go there.
Okay.
Wait,
You know what I'm saying?
We're bringing up a very
I think
valuable.
I'm skipping that. Skip.
I was like, I want to have a really valuable conversation around this
Mm-hmm.
because I think a lot of women they jump into the courting process with an expectation of marriage or finding a husband, and instead of checking for alignment, they're immediately judgmental because they're not seeing the end result immediately.
Disalignment feels like failure.
Yes,
And
and it feels like
rejection.
rejection and resentment.
Rejection.
Like
Yes,
That's what it
reflection.
feels like to me. And
Yes.
I'm going to be straight up. Like, when I feel like I am not aligned with a man, or a man is not aligned to me,
That you got
to
excited
me,
about.
I feel like shame.
Mm-hmm.
I chose this man. I didn't expect him to do this. I didn't expect it to end this way. I feel failure because I'm in my 30s. And how is it that I have achieved success in so many things in my life except for marriage and relationships? I feel disappointment. I feel like,
this is so good.
was I not good enough in this area? Remember, it's just misalignment, but I'm like, man, what if I would have been better? Would it have been aligned to make it work? I feel every negative feeling associated with disalignment, which then because we carry baggage. Every relationship we leave, we now carry to our next relationship, whether it be in lessons, whether it be in fear, whether it be in trauma. And
I'm
so
gonna teach people how not to do that. How not to do
grow.
that.
Or
but
grow.
so
grow.
then like I go into this next relationship and I'm like, damn, now I have fears and insecurities around like certain things because I don't want to fail again. I don't want to come up short again.
Right. Or
Always.
for you, it is, I gave it everything I had.
Yes.
And I'm not willing to do that again.
Me. That's me.
Or I'm very guarded.
I'm spent. I'm empty. I got nothing else to give anybody else.
So
either you give to me or I got good luck.
So I'm just supposed to be an endless amount of giving to this person for it not to work. And then it brings us back to that limbo of like, okay, when does it start? You're saying that it starts at marriage. But for me, my standard is that anybody that I am willing to call my girlfriend, then I'm already putting you on the track for marriage. Because if not, you don't need to be my girlfriend if I'm not looking to marry you one day.
Actually, I agree to that.
So then at that point where you say you can't check my pockets until we're married or I'm engaged to you, I would say that is unacceptable to me because I need to know those habits beforehand. Because I need to know how you spend, how you operate and stuff like that. I don't need to know that at the point that I'm asking you to marry me.
Right.
Because then when I'm asking you at that point what's going on, that seems like I'm late to the party.
Right.
I should have already known this stuff before I asked you.
Which
Which is the number one reason of divorce rates is financial.
Finances.
Yeah.
And decision making.
Right.
Yeah.
And then bring that back. It is, I'm as financially sound as I need to be for this relationship.
Right.
I need to make sure you are. Because if I know that that's the number one thing that could be the end of relationships or cause a headache in relationships, we need to know right out the gate, are we compatible there?
Right. So,
But what's the difference between compatibility, growth, and potential? Because we just talked 15 minutes ago about you
you're
are
still
always
trying to answer
marrying.
our first
Go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
because they hit me like 4 different questions.
sorry.
So when you're talking about, let's talk about the finance part, right? If we're talking about, I want to get to marry you, that's a far different setup than we're dating, meet me at this restaurant, we're going to have a date or whatnot. Or if I'm picking you up, we'll have a date. Those are two very
So now
completely
it's
different things.
dating then relationship, then marriage.
Dating and courting are different. Mm-hmm. Dating, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I'm having fun. Yeah.
I'm trying.
I'm on a date. Yeah.
Are we live?
Girl, what you doing this weekend?
Let me know.
Date Friday night.
I don't know that word.
You don't
You don't know. Okay.
Are we in a relationship or no? You text me twice at 11 p.m.
We're in a relationship.
Right. Hey, everybody has a different term for saying. Hey, I need to know. When you say dating versus courting,
yes.
What does that mean?
Okay, so if I'm courting you,
dating, is that we're talking?
We talking.
We talking. I'm open. So I'm dating I can date anybody.
Yeah, when you're dating, you're not exclusive to anything.
Okay, no exclusivity.
Oh, there's no exclusivity in dating. I can go on a date Friday night, Saturday night, whatever the case is, right? But if I'm courting you, now you are a candidate. You put in your application. We reviewing the application right now. We seeing if we can get this accepted so we can move to the next step.
Boyfriend, girlfriend, yeah. At that point.
If you're courting someone, yes. Courting comes with a certain level of exclusivity. So if I'm courting you, right? So let's say I'm assume, hey baby, I'm married to you. Just an example. Let's assume I'm not married, right? And I'm going out, meet a woman, and we go out on a couple of dates. We have some fun. Dang, I like her. Okay. Hey, Derek, what you doing this weekend? I got a girl. I can't do nothing with you. I'm sorry, I'm in a relationship because now I'm courting the one that I like. Right? I'm courting her now. So because I'm courting her now we can have the conversations about the finance. Do you want kids one day? What are your goals? Where are you growing? Because that's when you find those things out.
We had someone ask that question, which I think this was a really important answer, is do you start talking about goals on the first date, or at what point during the dating season do you begin to talk about goals? And I think it's what you just said, which is the difference between dating for alignment and dating to become exclusive.
Right.
First date. Right. First date. Right.
I
want to know it all.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
This is the camera, right?
Right.
Yeah.
First date.
You on the first date.
Because I need to know if you're worth going on the second date with, or do we need to stop this here? So for some of those things, finances.
But wait. We're very serious right now, and I need to ask a very not so serious question. That's a beautiful thing, but one of our audience members asked a really good question, which was, why do men salivate over I use this word, I don't know why, high achieving women, but then they date women that do not fit that bill. And so for many women like this, we get very scared to come forward with these goals because we're like, hell, I might run you off. Like if I come forward with this business, masculine energy that I have on date one, I'm going to run you smack dab off. So you're saying you want it, but a lot of men don't.
They say they want it.
Okay, so
all men say they want it. I think all men say they want it, and then at the end of the day, it's two words that they want for the most part, and that is peace and cooperation. They do. And the term submission.
None of those have anything to do with my goals.
So here's the thing, man. When women say that, hey, I'm afraid I might run him off, I might this, I might that, right? A lot of men see the vision of the woman that they say they want, right? But that don't mean you did the work to earn it, right? Did you go to work to get that paycheck, or did you just say, I want that Ferrari right there? Well, what work did you put in to earn it?
Well, the majority of people don't have delayed gratification for things.
Right. Yeah. So now a lot of men out there, dang, she doing this, she doing that. Yeah, man, I like that right there. But what does it take to be able to sustain being with a woman like that? Are you going to be able to be with her when she gone for 2 weeks because she got to work, because she got engagements? Are you going to be able, if y'all got children, are you going to be able to stay at home if you're not in that space? Can you do that? Can you imagine? Can you be...
That's a whole ego conversation.
Can you be as supportive and submissive to her and her goals as you want her to be for yours? If you can't, leave her alone. But that comes with men who got to heal themselves and be in a space to be able to deal with that.
Everything that we talked about, though, I really want to go back to something beautiful that you mentioned. And it's like, as we keep circling this, I'm coming back to one thing that you mentioned. Submission in a marriage and a committed relationship is on both sides.
Absolutely.
It is on both sides. And I think there's this obsession with women being feminine and submissive. But the way you keep painting the picture is a confident, well-operating marriage comes at the cost of both parties being submissive.
Right. See, a lot of men They think that a woman being submissive means doing what I say. And that is so far from the truth. I learned it the hard way because I was like, we married, now you got my last name. I done gave you something that ain't nobody ever gave you. You got to do what I say. So wrong. Massively wrong.
Men, are you listening?
Because my wife fought me up and down so hard, and it made every other aspect of my life hard because she was fighting me because I wasn't approaching her the right way. And I was like, you just not submissive. I had to take some time because, and I'll talk about this more on my platform, my podcast, everything. In 2018, I was like, I'm done with this marriage. I don't want this. I'm sliding. I'm out. I took a trip. I was gone. Went to see my cousin. He was in the club. I was single for like 4 days straight. I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't cheat on my wife or nothing like that, but I was out here living single. Boy, single. Mm-hmm. And it was rooted from this woman won't submit to me. She's not agreeable. She's not this, she's not that. And I realized I was hitting her over the head with a hammer, and she was literally just doing this. That she was literally defending how heavy I was coming to her. And when I sat back and was like, you know what, babe, what do you need from me? What do you need? And what she said to me, I wasn't even trying to hear. I ain't gonna even hold you. So I took it upon myself, being the leader of my household, being the head of my household. I'm like, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna start doing something different. So I would be like, baby, how was your day today? You was cool? Let me rub your feet real quick. Cool. Yeah. Or, babe, I got it. I'm gonna cook. Don't worry about it. We good. Babe, what you wanna go do? Well, baby, don't you gotta work? I'll handle it later. I'm here for you right now. Once I became more of a servant and I submitted to her needs, I didn't submit to her as she's my dominant force. I submitted to her because she has these needs. I have to submit what I got going on to make sure that her needs are met. Right? Once the woman, man, you want a woman to give you what you want, make sure her needs are met. And I ain't talking about putting her in bags and shoes and all that stuff. I'm talking about literally, she has an emotion and you cater to it. She has a way of thinking and you help align it for her. There's more value in being a mental and emotional provider than any amount of money will ever give you. Ever.
You say this best all the time, and I love it. You always joke and say the same way rent is due, emotions are due too.
They right on time.
Can I get with this a little bit? And it's something that I've been thinking about.
Talk to me.
And I talked to a buddy of mine. He's been married for about 10 years or so.
Okay.
And I just asked him, I'm like, man, how do you make it work? And the next thing he texted me was basically like, to be more in depth, it was just like, you know, with combating personalities, and like two parties being headstrong individuals. And his next text said submission about twice. And I have to say, my natural instinct was triggered by it. Because I'm like, I'm not about to submit to anybody. And I think that's how high earning women are feeling right now.
That is a derogatory word.
I was waiting to say that.
It is now that it is a derogatory word. It has been exhausted. And nobody wants to hear submit anymore. And when he said that to me as a man,
have several seats.
It didn't go over well with me. And then immediately what I said was, well, I don't even want somebody to submit to me. I want teamwork.
Right.
Can we?
We got a word for that.
Can we substitute the word submission with teamwork? Because for everything that I am with you for, that independence, your go-getter spirit, I want that working with me. I want it on my team. And then we go get those goals together. Right. So then as far as somebody staying at home with the kids and I go to work and this, that, and the other, one got to submit to the other. I guess we're going to look at whose job is earning more. But if we both love our jobs, it don't matter how much you're earning with them. It's what we're passionate about.
I agree.
Right? So, but if we're both making good money, well, maybe neither one of us need to take off. Maybe we just need to buy a nanny.
Right. Yeah.
And then the nanny need to do that.
Yeah.
And then we need to come together on, because we don't want the nanny raising our kid.
Yeah.
We still want the impression of us on our child. So maybe then at that point, we need to say, well, we just need the nanny here this much, right?
Right.
We need to have family time this much, right? And stuff like that. And
so you really don't want to submit.
I don't want, and for the woman that I want, right?
That word triggers him as much as it does.
Yeah,
so then when I look at it, it's just like just naturally like for it's hard out here in these streets.
Yeah.
Right? To get money and this, that, and the other, right? We had to develop a certain type of mentality out here to have that go-getter spirit and be at that being the high earner that we are, right?
Okay.
So that mentality got that respective person to that position as you guys are, right? So then, next thing you know, it's just hard to swallow submission. Because then, okay, if we go with submission, let's keep it going, right? Then I would argue that, is it that hard to submit to one person for it to work? And that my ego needs that?
Right.
My ego needs that submission. Can we just go with that? Superficially, right? But at the end of the day, all submission is saying is, I want your cooperation.
Yeah.
For the things that matter to me. And that's on both sides.
Right.
At the end of the day, men so strongly want the word submission in our camp. I can be one of those at times. But then if I want that strong woman with that same mentality, that word's going to trigger her like it triggers me, because she's been out here while people been trying to stomp on her, and she like, I ain't going down without a fight. Right. So, and just like that woman who's a single mom, right? Yeah. Her being that single mom, and in a lot of relationships, or either one of us, right? We'll say both parties. Yeah. They've been beaten down by a partner. They could have been beaten down by a partner. Not that they were, but they could have been beaten down by a partner and stuff like that. Right. And at the point that they felt that pain, they said, I'll never feel that pain again.
So, all right. So I got to be serious for a minute. So, my wife was that woman. She had some real bad relationships. So for a long time, she had just had such a scar tissue around her whole being, her thinking, her emotions, everything. And it was such a fight. So I'm going to take the word submission out. I'm going to just use the word agreeable, because if we're both submitting, we're agreeing with each other. I'm with that. We're being agreeable. That's why I always say submission don't mean do what I said. It means work with me.
I like that.
Right? Because you got to remember, I'm not submitting to you. You're not submitting to me. We're submitting to our success. So whatever we have to do to be successful, we have to submit to that.
Collective goal.
Yes. Right. So take that thing out. I ain't submitting to no man. Well, are you going to submit to your future? I ain't submitting to no woman. Are you submitting to being able to lead your household the right way? If you're not going to submit, that means you're not going to be agreeable. Because then it's going to turn into, oh, this is what I said. What you said will have you alone. Right? So
when it's excuse me, okay, y'all.
Are you good?
At the point that when you guys reach a certain point where it's one topic, you see it your way, she sees it hers, and she's not really budging. Right?
Been there.
Then King Derek, leader of the household.
King Derek, right.
Who word holds the most weight?
So in a marriage, right, I am the head of my household.
Yeah.
That is my God-given responsibility.
Yeah.
Now, do I have the final say in my home? I do. But that's only after I've considered what my wife had to say. Right? And it's not me.
So it only works if it's a team.
It has to be like
outcome.
Right. I'll give you a perfect example. We've had discussions about the kids before. And I'm like, no. And she's like, yeah. And I'm no. Baby, tell me why. Okay, you said why. All right. I just something in me feels wrong. Because here's what a man gotta remember too. And a wife has to remember this about a man. Okay? Our job is to protect. Number one job is to protect. Right? So if I'm saying no to something, we have a disagreement hard about something, it's because I'm trying to protect our unit. My wife understands that now. That if she says my husband making a decision right now, it's for our best interest.
She trusts it.
You were getting to the word I was getting ready to say, and that was what I was going to bring up earlier.
Women don't trust.
Yeah, you have to.
A lot of high achieving women don't trust.
Right, and I get why. Give me 1 second. Yeah. And I get why, because to be a successful businesswoman, you kind of got to be a shark out here a lot of times. Yes. And a lot of men have the same problem too, but especially women, they don't know how to turn that off. Because when you go out to the workplace or as a businesswoman, you see men, right? The same men you got to be a shark against with, right? So you are now trained and conditioned subconsciously that when I'm dealing with a man, I don't trust you and I got to fight you. Because I know that at the end of the day, you probably don't want what I want and you don't want what's best for me.
Right.
A lot of women don't know how to turn that off.
Yes.
When you walk through that door with me, baby, I got you.
But
we may not see things the same.
For the woman, at what point do I know that you got me?
That's
because I'm gonna take you through my own test.
Right.
It depends on the people. And you got to meet the qualifications of that test. At each, it's got to be checkpoints, because you know what happened for a lot of women, they'll get taken advantage of one way or the other, and then that happens, and then who's there to pick them up, right? There's been when they sit there and they follow a man's lead, a man drives them into financial ruin.
And emotional.
This is our biggest fear with submission and trust. It's because, submit and trust you, ride your wave, take your lead. And the minute you see something, like you said at the very beginning of this episode, divorce can happen any which way now. You can see a woman walking down the street and decide you want that and say, okay, I'm actually done with this partnership. I would like to try new things. And now I have submitted to you, followed your lead, been agreeable because your vision seems higher than mine. And at some point you've convinced me that this vision is bigger for us than just me. Right. So now I have submitted to your vision, and now I'm left with nothing. This is the part that women don't trust. I'm going to fight for mine and keep mine. I would like to partner with you on this effort, but I'm going to keep mine, because at any given moment in the society that we live in, you decide you're done, or you like what you see better, or I have aged a little bit, or whatever the hell you decide. Now I am stuck and left with nothing.
And high achieving women have a proven track record to be able to feel that way. Like, oh no, I actually know how to make decisions. I am financially responsible and independent. So remember, the history of the union of marriage was based off of like survival and economics. A woman could not even open her own bank account without being married, without a man. Right. And so historically, women have been crippled.
Yes.
From a economy, financial, educational, all of these things. And so now they're rising, right? They're rising, and they're no longer crippled. There's no longer a disability. They are having children and also getting a master's degree and also making six figures and also cleaning the home.
Oh, is this
and also but I'm just saying, in terms of the trust, before a woman had to trust a man. Now a woman
we're not required
to trust a man. And those are very two different conversations.
They are.
Because if a woman who has had, unsuccessful relationships, let's say she has different children, different babies' fathers, she is now like, my life kind of depends on trusting this man. Mm-hmm. A woman, and not to compare or say one is better than the other, but a woman who maybe didn't make those choices says, oh, actually, nothing's riding on this wave. Like, if I want to trust you, it's because I choose to. We just want you to acknowledge that. Acknowledge that I'm choosing this.
And at that point, that you give me a reason not to, or even just a slight hint of a reason not to trust you, I will pull back with full force.
I'm not going to lie, that's me.
Because
it's not right.
That's what happens.
It's not right. I get scared.
We put them on the same side for the right reason.
Look, they hit that kill switch too quickly.
We're going to fix the emotional pain you got. We're going to fix the trauma that you got. Because until you fix it, we can't create another generation of men that's going to be able to stand up and be as healed as we are.
If you want partnership, if you want marriage, if you want love, when you find something that you like, are you willing to lead with love and submission instead of sacrifice? What is that going to look like?
I'm going to tell you a secret. Because people see the high-achieving woman, they see her six figures, they see her awards, they see her master's degree, they see her education. But what they don't see is the 7-year-old version of us.
It's not that I'm lost. It is that I'm saying the same pain that you're feeling, I feel it the same way. But nobody out here worried about us, because you know why? As a man, the world is not as empathetic to it.